Close enough. Hey. All right. Tuesday. Today at... Ooh, let's see what we got. Powell is testifying today, so we'll probably throw that on and watch. Short NQ. Why are we short NQ? We created this supply on the hourly when we broke this low here on this down candle. So we created this supply. We came back up. We retested right up here and started breaking down in this area. Then I got short. Got one out here this morning. Now we're holding one. We're looking for a down day on the ES and the NQ right now. And if we get that, I will want to add to my short. Somewhere up here looks like a good area. Like if we get a push up off the open, somewhere up here. Add to the short, that would be good. Crude, we're long crude. Moved our stop above this swing and this hourly demand that was created. Why did we get long crude? Where are we? Oh yeah, we we were fighting this, we said yesterday, specifically 72.50 is where we were looking to take profits of our crude. Got right to 72.54, and that held us down until this point. At this point, we broke through the highs, continuing our uptrend. We pulled back and created demand on this up move here, so I bought this demand candle and just let it go. We're in an uptrend. Initially, I was looking at the 750s because that's this supply area here. So we ran into this hourly supply. That's this supply over here. So we ran into this hourly supply and consumed orders, made a new high telling us we're consuming orders in the balance, or I mean in the long direction. And I expect to go through the zone we were looking at yesterday. When this high occurred here, I expected to go through the zone. Now where do I think we could go? I was thinking right above this high, which we've already taken out. I took some profits there. Now we're just going to hold this one and see if we can get a push up to 74.15-ish area. Big move. We'll see if we got follow through. We were in long yesterday night as well. Held it into the morning. Oh, no, not on crude. That was gold. Oh yeah, we took this long here on crude, which was off this demand. I tried long in gold last night. When we dropped down here, I got long off of this. So this move up here broke structure high. I saw this as demand. I got long off this demand, went to bed, and that stopped me out. So didn't get that gold trade we wanted. Where did this come down to? We were looking down here for a buy, perhaps. This area. But we might have found those buyers right there, actually. We'll see if this paints a picture. Hourly sellers are right here. See how we react, maybe push off, create demand in this area, and I'll go long. Crude, we're just looking, holding crude, hoping for an up day, push up to 74s. I'm not looking to add any more on crude. On NQ, we're looking to fill this gap from that one day, and if we get a move off, if we get a move on the open up, if we get a push up off the open, maybe around this blue area, I'll look to add to my NQ short. I think that's all we're looking at. All my data went down at the end of the stream yesterday, so I ended up getting out. I think my crude here just hit my stop. And then gold we got out here at the end of the day somewhere. Didn't get the continue. We were looking for an update yesterday in gold. Held the contract all day. Got out, end of the day. Boop. Oh, there we go. There. Oh, cool. Glad to see you guys come in. Yeah, thanks for showing up. Would have been nice to have you a little bit earlier. Yeah, like I said, we tried to take a couple more longs here on this demand. That was a loser last night. Took one off crude and took one off NQ already. NQ, we'll see if we could play out. ES, I got these blue lines marked. I think we can go down to 60-30s. And, you know, today's weird, right? Powell is testifying today. Today can be very volatile. So just be careful. Just be careful. After his speech, he will be subjected to what is usually 2 to 3 hours of questions. Just be ready. Be ready. Could get a little hairy today. Starts getting too crazy, just leave it alone. See, I wonder if I bet the Dow's going down too. Yeah, it's about starting to. Not quite like the Rusty. This is the play I think on the NQ I want to see as we come down to like that Sunday open. That would bring us down here to like 21,500. That's a big move. But we'll see. We'll see what can happen. We'll see if we can make it work. A lot of times when you get a gappy move, you'll tend to just retrace that because this happens so fast. Any big market participants that wanted to get long down here would potentially miss it, right? But coming all the way back down would not be weird. Yeah, plan for NQ, trying to trade it lower today on a down day. And we'll add if we get a supply setup off the open. Crude will look to take profits around 74 if we can make it up there. I think we can make it up there. We'll continue to trail structure. We already got out one contract over here. Holding the last one, not going to add to crude. Dow, kind of the same picture as NQ, I think. We can fill that Sunday price action. Gold. We're testing this hourly. Oh shit, excuse me. Hey, what's up? What's up?
Hey. Hey.
Trade a Rooney into this morning?
Are you gonna help me or not?
Let's just stay calm and trade on, baby.
Are you gonna help me or not?
Fine help.
What?
You like shorting, don't you?
Yes.
Alright, good, because my plan is to try to ride a down day.
Looks like you're already in a trade.
Yes, sir. I'm in a short NQ and a long crude.
Whoa, you're taking 2 trades at a time now?
Yep. And I had a loss on gold last night. I tried to go long gold as well.
Nice, dude. So what? When did you go short?
On the NQ, it was at like midnight.
Oh, hell yeah. Cool, brother. Well, I'm gonna go grab an energy drink and then
Well, I got the Welch's grape.
oh, don't you love it?
Mmm.
You like it or
So
no?
good. So good.
Yeah, it's different. It's definitely grapey, but it's good. I think
It's
it's
like
good.
I'm an adult child.
Yeah,
Mama,
yeah.
give me my juice.
Mama. All right, well, I'm gonna run up the street and grab energy drink, and then I'll call you back in about 15 minutes.
All right, brother. See you then.
You're gonna be streaming, right?
Yes.
Okay, great, cool. Sounds
Cool
good, dude.
beans.
I'll call you back in a little bit.
All right, man. See you soon.
Okay, bye.
Cool. D Rick in the house. What were we talking about? I was looking at this. We're coming up into this supply, which I could. I'm trying to think. No, I would have to be more interested in the buy side of the market. So, yeah, I will look for a buy down here. Ideally, this up move breaks to here. I want to see this supply taken out. So this is what I want price to look like, and I will get long gold. We go up to about 30.7. Retrace somewhere about halfway. This demand looks real nice right here. Maybe right under it. Do a little up move. Something like this. My goal will be to get long from this demand. A retest of this demand somewhere half back of this up move, but I want to see this up move take out this supply. So we'll look for that. Crude, we're just looking up for 74s, and then we'll probably flip the script. We'll look for a short setup up there. NQ, we're looking to play a down day. Same with ES, but I'm in NQ, so I'm not going to be in an ES. With the idea of just filling this Sunday price action. So ES is already halfway there. ES to like 60.50 in this bottom area. At that point, we could go through with our volatility because we're going to be having Powell talking for hours today. We'll put some of that on. I believe starts at a time today, 9 o'clock. Boom. Steel and aluminum tariffs. reading some fucking Fed heads. Economy is a good place. Job market is solid. It is likely appropriate to hold rates steady for some time. It's still not clear that inflation will keep moving down to 2%. Risks to inflation right now are skewed to the upside. Oh yeah, I need to see it. The Federal Reserve should be streaming it, right? Maybe. We'll see. Nine minutes till the open. Ideally, we hold somewhere around here. That would be a big enough gap to for a continuation. Same with NQ. I'm looking for an opening pullback to add to my NQ. We're going to supply. We'll see what happens. And we'll see what kind of picture gold paints too. Good day though. Yesterday was a good day too. Gustas, what's up, Gustas? How you doing? How you doing? Hope you slept well. Hope the rest of your day yesterday was fantastic. Mine was. I felt good yesterday. Felt pretty good. Gustas bias check. This is what I'm thinking. NQ and ES, same thing. Thinking we fill Sunday's price gap. So we come down somewhere over here. We have Powell speaking at 9 o'clock, and then he's answering questions. He's basically getting interrogated in front of Congress. So we have to be careful. So just be wary. It could get once they start asking questions, they might start asking, like, trying to push him on things. So it could get volatile. But I'm looking on the NQ. I'm looking to take this down. Maybe we open up and come somewhere up here. I'll add to my position one. I'm looking for a down day. But we'll see. Anything can happen. Trying to take crude up to the 74s right now. Or the next areas we're looking. I mean, we really just have this open price and to fill that gap on Sunday. Once we fill Sunday, or if we fill Sunday, I mean, really right below it. In this green area. So we'd say 60/20s, 6,000. And 60/40s, 60/20s, and 6,000. I would look for buyers. But we'll see how crazy it gets. I don't know how Powell's speech will be. On the NQ, we're kind of looking to take it down to 21,400. Whether we get that today or not, I have no idea. But we'll try. We will try. Wonder. I'm interested to see what this market wants to do, because right now on the daily, you know, as far as like the ES and stuff, man, we're just getting compressed in this range. This is a very volatile range. We've had some crazy days, right? I mean, if you think of this as like a big daily area we're being held into, man, what comes out of this? That's what I'm curious to see. I don't know what direction we're going to go, but when we come out of this, it'll be interesting. Even crazier if we, like, say, push up to all-time highs and reject it. Oof. That would be something. Four minutes to the open. 30 minutes after the open, I'll speak in. I'm going to try to put that on and watch some of it. We're hitting these these sellers right here. So I want to see us pop through this zone. I don't want to see us pull back now. We held our gold throughout the day yesterday, and we eventually got out here. We were long. Yesterday I was hoping for a gold up day because of the just straight upness of overnight. Didn't get it. Got out of our position, and then boom, we got the up move. And I tried to long off this demand here, created when we took out this high. I got long there overnight as well, but that one failed. So NQ and crude worked. Gold failed. But we're still looking to take gold long if we couldn't get something here. We'll keep an eye on it. See how this reacts off the open. Looking for a high of the day in the first 30 minutes if we're going to have a down day. So ideally, I get in my additional contract before 9, so then I could be break even before Powell speaks. Kind of just place a bet like that. Oh man, silver. Silver came right to that green. We were looking at that green zone. Dang. What happened when we got down into it? Yeah, maybe we could have thrown on something there. That's unfortunate. Didn't even look. It happened pretty quick. Oh, pretty quick. been an hour. I just haven't looked at silver. Shoot. Unfortunate. I've been trying to only mark on my charts like what I think is zones I'm actually interested in. So the fact that the green zone's there, I was interested in that for sure. Why? Why was I interested in that? Well, look what price did there on the hourly. We got our correction, stopped us in our tracks, boom, sent us going to new highs. It's essentially a V. That's the strongest demand you can get right there. And that's a beautiful reaction off of it. Now we're coming back up to sellers. I think sellers are going to be here. We'll see if we can break these highs here. And then the same thing like with gold. We'll see it come up and we want to see it. There we go. Oh yeah, it broke that zone. Wait, let me double check. That is 30.6. Ah, it didn't break the zone. One tick. Well, 2 ticks to break it. If we can break that and get a pullback, we'll look for a long. Kind of the same picture with silver. If we can get a pullback. I really would have wanted to take this zone though. That's unfortunate. Oh, NQ's popping. All right, let's see. Good. Maybe look for an add here if we form some sort of supply. Don't do it. Don't take me out. No. I know I wanted it up move off the open, but dang. Do me like that, that'll be crazy. We'll see. What's crew doing? Crew dropped. You gonna double take me out? There we go. Gold went above that, I think. Yes, it did. Okay. So it met that condition. Now we're looking for about a halfway retracement. This is demand here. We'll look to get long that. Crude. Came back to this demand here. That's why I put my stop underneath it. See if that holds. If that breaks, it's fine to get me out because then we're starting to break demand. And Q got me out. Son of a gun. So a smallish trade on NQ. We got short up here. Took some off here. And then we got out here. So from the 90s, 790s. Maybe 40 points. 60 points total. Now I have to see if we get a re-entry or not. I guess I don't want to be in a position before Powell starts speaking. We'll see, we'll see. Unfortunate though. Sometimes it'd be like that though. How about all get the beautiful setup short, hold through it all night, you know, and then in a single handle says no, 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 no. The gap is 13 points higher. $88.25 is that high, so we did break this high. Let's see if we get anything right here. If we break this red zone, then I don't know if we'll have to wait and see. It's too much buys to go against if we break this. Crude got to bounce off this demand. Let's see if it holds. Still waiting on gold. I'm sad on the silver play. I think that would have been a good one. That was a clear, crystal clear demand. Hit these sellers here. We'll see what happens. Owl talks at 9 o'clock. Probably play some of that just to see what's up. Watch the markets react if they react. We got the long this crude off of this demand here that formed because yesterday crude we were looking for 72.50s, which is right here. For sellers to step in, they stepped in, not too crazy, and they kind of held us down here. So when we broke higher on this move up right here, then I was looking for demand to form and taking that demand higher. That's what happened here. We got long, and then we were looking for above this hourly wick here. Hey, got your caffeine.
What's up, dude?
Order filled.
Oh, Jesus. You did that on purpose. Dude just totally did that on purpose.
I just saw it on this wick. I just put the stop above the top. It's all good.
Hey, that could be high of the day, actually.
Yeah, I just figure whatever. I'm just leaving the stop there. If I get stopped out, I get stopped out, you know? I'm going to try to take it back down like halfway through this bar right here, you know? Let's see what happens. Share your screens. Get out of that short before this big move up.
No, it got me out though.
You serious?
I mean, my stop was just above this high.
You didn't feel like this would happen when the volume came in the market at the open?
Did I think it was gonna go up 100 points instantly on one candle? No.
Jesus. I know. I mean, I know. I didn't, I guess, yeah.
I thought it was gonna
Pretty
go up off
crazy.
the open, and I wanted to sell a supply setup, but I wanted to add to my contract. But now I just gotta wait for a supply setup.
Yeah, I mean, I literally just turned it on right now, and I see that too. I mean, it's crazy. Why did it do that? Just there's no news or anything. Powell testifies at what, in like 20 minutes or something?
Yeah, 20 minutes. Well, we came right into the like originating demand of our overnight move right here. So it makes a little sense. I wasn't expecting all those buyers. I was hoping that would have broken, but
Right.
still hanging in there in crude.
Nice, dude. Good for you.
Gold, I'm looking to go long if it retraces a little bit. How's the rest of your day yesterday?
It was good. I got really lucky, to be honest with you.
That's not what I like to hear.
That's why, meaning like, the reason I say that is not that I took bad trades. I took good trades, but they were evaluations that I needed to pass, and I got really lucky in the fact that I, put on a lot of size and I got what I needed to.
Oh, I gotcha, yeah.
But
well, you knew the risk you were taking.
Yeah. I mean, so, I have like all the evaluations are done. I have all the funded accounts again, but I'm today I decided I'm just gonna feel like I took this trade, but this is just in a sim account,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not, I don't know, I feel like I've been getting, like, I blew up those accounts and then I got lucky yesterday.
Getting antsy.
Yeah, I got lucky yesterday to get them all back without having to blow up to get them back. I got lucky that the first time I paid for the evaluations, I got them, funded.
Right.
So I just want to kind of just take a step back and look at what I did right during this good run I was on, and also look at what I did wrong.
Yeah, that's a good idea. It's not
So I'm just gonna
I always feel like, oh shoot, if I take a break I'm losing time, or I'm losing like opportunity.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with it though.
Not at all. And I mean, I've always thought that too. And then I realized, like, after taking a break kind of around the holidays a little, I'm like, dude, I didn't miss anything,
Yeah.
So I mean, it is what it is.
I'll talk in today. It'd be interesting.
Yeah, it looks like I'm gonna get stopped out on this. I have my stop right above that prior wick. We'll see. I just jumped on and saw this real quick and was like, oh. But that's okay. I'm gonna honor my stops. That's why, even though I'm in the sim right now,
It's all habits.
Yeah, exactly, bro. I have to do that, and I also have to not oversize. Like, I traded 3, and that's what I'm gonna do every time.
Yeah, if you look for quick money, the market will quickly take your money.
Yes, sir. Yes, it will. So with that move down though, I mean, you got out prior to break even, right?
Yeah, I was in profits, like just 20 points or so.
Nice, dude. Yeah, I got super lucky yesterday, bro, that the trades moved when I needed them to.
Sometimes a little bit of luck, can't hate it.
Yeah, yeah. And I still have my other funded accounts too. I'm about to get a payout on those and stuff. So I mean, it's okay. I'm just kind of bummed out because, even leading up to me blowing up those accounts, like the couple days before that, even though I made money, I like still didn't feel good trading. I just felt different.
Yeah, well,
I felt
you're,
like I just felt I wasn't like my confidence wasn't there in the setups the way it had been prior.
yeah, yeah. Well, and if you feel bad,
Yeah, yeah.
you know how you messed up or whatever, and it just like eats at you.
Yeah, exactly. So I think today's good just to watch the market and you know, just take today off. Plus,
Yeah.
my top step accounts, I passed them all, and I can't trade them anyway until tomorrow because I have to buy them today after the market closes and all that.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I have to wait for them to be like, congratulations. Howell testifies. He already testified once before, though, if I remember correctly, and nothing. I mean, nothing even really happened with the market.
Yeah, I think they got to do this like once or twice a year.
Yeah. But yeah, shit,
It
dude,
just takes
100
one
points,
word, though,
100 points off the open, huh? Yeah, I'm looking at this candle. This is crazy.
Stas, would you be looking to short NQ? Yeah, I want to short. But I want to see the 5 minute show some weakness for me first. We did take out this prior candle low, but yeah, I mean right up here or right above it, like this gap close, be areas I'll be looking at. I was hoping it didn't come up that high. I'm looking for a down day. We'll see if we get it.
I shorted.
Oh no, if we're all short, you know what that means.
Don't do what I do.
Looks like this crude will stop me out, maybe. We'll see. Got it. Has to be the holding zone.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna start looking at some other instruments too to trade. I'm gonna go back to the ES too.
Yeah, I think I should have opened them up. I opened it up like all my charts like a
I do
couple months
too.
ago. I was like, oh, maybe I'll look at, and I was like,
Hey, bro, that's so funny because that's what I did. I did it a few months ago when I was kind of like trying to learn more about swing trading, just like
yeah,
getting more into it. And I opened them up too, and I set up a 4 hour and for oil and for gold, platinum. I've never traded gold or platinum though, but I took a few trades on oil. I liked it. Come on, dude. Let me get a down candle here. Yeah, fucking push down.
right about this red box is also 50%. about 50% of like this down move, a little bit higher. Seems like a good area.
Then I called the top on NQ? No.
Perhaps.
Maybe.
Only 9 more minutes till 9 o'clock. First 30 minutes, the high of the day, most likely, if it's a down day.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what this little gremlin fucking does. He likes to have fun. He might come on with a new haircut and say something fascinating. He kind of actually reminds me of you, Trevor.
Gremlin?
Jerome Powell.
Oh. How dare
That's
you
what I'm talking
insult
about.
Jerome that way?
He kind of, yeah, look. See, this is the epitome of my fucking trading the last couple days. Take it, comes back to break even basically, and then just fucking boom shakalaka.
Boom shakalaka.
Stop, Bill. Fucking bitch. Man, I'm stupid, man. God damn it.
Losses don't matter, remember?
What?
Losses don't matter.
Yeah, it's all right. I honored my stop, you know?
Coming up.
I'm gonna short on Gremlin, dude. I'm gonna short on Jerome Powell on your grandpa.
Short the good morning.
Huh?
Short the good morning.
I'm gonna short it. I'm gonna put my stop right on the other side of this. Up here. This is a level it came into last night that I took a short off, dude. That it was perfect. Broke this trend line, created supply, and then it came back up into the supply. I took it, boom. It's beautiful. You taught me it.
Nice.
Yeah, the Trevor special. All right, let's try this again, bitch.
Order filled. Order filled.
Bloomberg TV. Got the jams.
You're listening to Bloomberg Surveillance with Tom Keene and Paul Sweeney on Bloomberg Radio.
Good morning, everyone. David Gurian for Paul Sweeney. I'm Tom Keene. John Tucker here for Lisa Mateo. Thank you for being with us on your commute across the nation.
Why are these guys in suits? Guys in a tux.
He looks like he came from a wedding, bro.
Tom Keene, what the fuck are you doing, bro?
This is an honor. Alex Steele has earned credibility in hydrocarbons.
There we go. Yes, there we go. That's what I want. See, get stopped out, re-enter.
Here's Steele. and it's on British Petroleum.
This
We're
is a
about
great
page
intro.
on about
I'll
page
take it.
150 of Daniel Jurgen's Prize. It's British Petroleum out in the tundra looking for oil. And yet the last 20 years is a nightmare of 4 or 5% per year return. I've talked to Lord Brown about it. The Lords over at Singer, they want to do something.
Keeping us in the crude, keeping
This
us
is now
in so
finally
far.
He gets put out of its misery.
Maybe, hopefully, one can only wish. I mean, you mentioned Lord Brown. I mean, under Lord Brown, it was Beyond Petroleum, right? They changed that name in terms of what BP meant. That didn't go anywhere. And then in 2020, there was another corporate reset where it was going to be like, we still like oil, we still like gas, but we're moving away from that and doing more transitional fuels, etc. And that ran into a lot of speed bumps. One, you had the COVID shutdown, so demand was really hit. And then you had the Ukraine war, and everyone realized, oh no, wait, we need oil and gas now. And this pivot is just so late.
Okay, and the adults are in Elliott Management. Is there
Maybe.
within your reading, is there a likelihood here Elliott can have an impact?
Sure, it's Elliott, but the impact would have to be huge. Like, we'd have to look at the board, for example. Do they spin off their other assets that aren't oil and gas? Like, the big stuff, not just like we're going to take
Big
away
stuff.
a little bit of investment in wind and put it into
I
oil.
get
Like,
it.
big
well
things.
said. Well said. I mean, it's been a ginormous mediocrity, right?
Yeah, and Shell made the pivot earlier back to sort of oil and gas, and Total's done a really good job over in Europe of keeping oil and gas, but also transitioning to power and electricity, which a lot of oil guys don't want to do, and they're also really crushing it. BP has just been like left for dead
Is
for a
our
while.
big oil crushing it?
Yeah, they really are. They really are. And think about it.
Exxon,
Chevron, yep, Conoco. If you're a portfolio manager, how many big oil companies can you own right now? 5?
Some
One?
come in, yeah.
2? Probably 1 or 2. So, I mean, BP at this point is trailing all the majors, so it's going to take a lot to sort of revamp this stock. Remember, they also had a CEO switch at the same time a couple years ago, and now you have the CFO in, and he's now taken on the helm. That's a lot.
So, have you ever been on an oil rig? Like, have you been out in the Gulf of America on an oil rig?
I have not.
I saw Jim
This
Cramer
is twofold.
broadcast from one recently, and he looked very nervous.
From Chevron, he
looked
did.
Very nervous.
I have been to rigs in the Permian like a million times, but no, I have not been off the Gulf. Apparently, you have to go through helicopter training.
Yes.
Did you know about this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to get on a Sikorsky.
This is like my biggest fear ever.
Is that right?
Like, you're dropped in water and you can't escape.
Oh.
So
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I can do that.
Okay. Alex Steele,
I'd
thank
like
you
a
so much.
surveillance remote from a rig.
Mitchell
No, I'm
Furman.
pulling it. I'm doing that. You're not doing that.
Mitchell Furman writing it up for Bloomberg. British Petroleum, they pledged strategy reset. Is activist Elliott builds stake? Interesting.
Can I read what was a breaking news headline here?
Please, we
Scott
do that.
Bessent, Treasury Secretary, headed to Kyiv, to Ukraine in the coming days.
I'm surprised it's
to secure
announced.
U.S. access to critical minerals, according to people familiar with the matter. But just wanted to flag that his first trip abroad will be to Ukraine. Very interesting. Anyway, I don't know.
Critical minerals is what he's worried
Donald
about
Trump
in
has
Ukraine?
suggested that for us to stay engaged with this war, the U.S. would need more access to critical minerals. So,
how did Google switch to Gulf of America? I did it on my phone today.
Wait, so are you doing it? You're definitely switching?
No,
No.
if you look at Google
If you look
Maps,
at
it
Google
says
Maps,
Gulf
it
of
says
America.
Gulf of
But on
America.
Apple Maps, it doesn't. But
Things I learn, man.
You know, February 9th is now Gulf of America Day, as decreed by the president.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. That was one of the
Very good.
EOs that
We
we've
get that
seen
day
this
off?
We
week.
should play the
We
Super
get that day
Bowl
off.
next year. Options are in. Come on, Stevie's out with Waddy. Stevie can do it. Stevie Nicks here with a down, -97.
Where's my boy at?
Oh, shit.
Talking right now? What the fuck?
I don't know, bro.
Oh, not yet. Talking somewhere.
And
We can ease policy if the labor market unexpectedly weakens or inflation falls more quickly than expected.
Good morning.
Oh, God, he's talking.
This committee will come to order. Chair Powell, thank you for being with us today. Reserves serves a critical role in the function of our government and the global economy. You have the ability to influence markets and directly impact the financial future of hundreds of millions of Americans.
Hundreds of
That
millions.
is why the Federal Reserve is supposed to be an independent institution free from politics. But in recent reality, the Fed has been susceptible to political pressure. Take, for example, the Fed's involvement in the Network for Greening the Financial System, a group dedicated to green financing and climate change, which the Fed joined in December 2020 as President Biden was about to assume office. Just last month, the Fed announced that it had pulled out of the organization as President Trump was getting ready to be sworn in. To the American people, this is flip-flopping in the political wind. Too much focus on climate change instead of supervision is consequential. And in March, just 2 years ago, we saw the failure of Silicon Valley Bank. SVB marked the third largest bank failure in U.S. history and the largest since the 2008 financial crisis. And yet not a single federal regulator was held to account. In fact, the FDIC filed a lawsuit against bank executives which accused the SVB of egregious mismanagement. And I agree. How is it that no bank supervisor has faced any consequences? With 30 MRAs and MRIAs that never had timely action at SVB. How can the people who are supposed to be our cops on the beat have not faced any recourse for such egregious failures? I simply don't understand. We must all address the fact that over the last 4 years, the Biden administration and Bidenomics have devastated, decimated, and destroyed hardworking families' ability to support themselves. During Joe Biden's time in office, overall prices rose by over 20%. Energy prices, 34%. Transportation costs, 31%. Groceries, 22%. But that's not all. Thanks to Bidenomics, 2/3 of Americans have less than $1,000 in their savings accounts. But there is good news. Things are going to get better. During his first term, President Trump kept his promises to the American people. In the first 3 years of his presidency, President Trump built the most inclusive economy ever. 7 million jobs created, and 2/3 went to women, African Americans, and Hispanics. It's time to once again make America's economy work for the folks working paycheck to paycheck. Joe Biden broke our economy, and Donald Trump will fix it. For too long, bank regulators have followed a black box regulatory framework with little to no recourse. The FDIC, under President Trump's leadership, recently released never-before-seen supervisory documents which confirmed that Biden's Operation Choke Point 2.0 was real, despite assurances that these unacceptable practices would end following the Democrats' first Operation Choke Point 1.0. We are seeing an unfair playing field that results in disastrous
Couldn't tell this guy was a
legal
Republican
businesses
at all.
and law-abiding citizens. On one hand, if you were in the private sector and you do your job poorly, you would face consequences, reprimands, suspensions, or even being fired. But if you are within the walls of the federal government, such as a bank regulator, you will face no consequences for your actions, even if you pressure a bank to cut off services to digital asset firms, political figures, and conservative-aligned businesses and individuals. To me, that goes against the principles of
Oh, we got
fairness
stopped at a crude.
and market access. Over the last 2 years, as the ranking member of this committee, I have consistently argued that Basel III endgame proposal will raise costs and limit credit access for hardworking Americans. And while I'm glad this proposal was not finalized, the uncertainty surrounding Basel III forced banks to put capital on the sidelines, limiting access to that capital for local small businesses across our country. Now, as chairman, I plan to work to rectify the issues of the Biden administration. Chairman Powell, I look forward to hearing from you on the Federal Reserve's future and the plans that you have for right-sizing the financial regulatory framework, specifically around Basel III. To create jobs here in America, we need to make sure there's capital and liquidity in the market. And we also want all Americans, even those growing up in poverty like I did, to know that they can access the capital necessary to start new businesses, grow existing businesses, buy a home, and pursue their American dream. Chairman, I look forward to your comments and your testimony. I will simply say that I believe that weaponizing an independent agency like the Fed for liberal positions, from debanking crypto, bank stress test, and
My God,
green
the Fed is so
financial
not political at all, bro.
is not calling balls and strikes as a fair
Stop trying to
referee.
make it
And I
something that's
hope
not.
that we are getting ready to clean that slate, start afresh, and focus on a healthy economy. Ranking Member Warren.
AKA, do what we want.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chair Powell, it is no secret that you and I disagree on the need for strong bank regulation, on monetary policy, and
hate
on the Fed's stock
Elizabeth
trading
Warren's
scandals.
voice.
We have sharp differences, but I believe
You know
you
you
are
like her.
a principled public servant
I like
who
her
cares
hair.
about this country. We are at an unprecedented moment. Our financial systems are facing huge risks from the economic chaos of President Trump and his co-president, Elon Musk. From on-again, off-again tariffs to on-again, off-again layoffs for tens of thousands of government workers, to on-again, off-again cuts in domestic grain purchases, to on-again,
Oh yeah,
off-again
keep
support
talking, baby.
for medical research.
Right?
Now, co-president
Talking, you little
Musk
devil.
and his OMB director have frozen all work at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. There are now 0 cops overseeing the $18 trillion consumer lending market. 0 cops. Investigations into illegal foreclosures and auto repossessions canceled. Exams of giant credit card issuers to weed out unlawful junk fees canceled. Probes of illegal debt collection
Probes.
practices canceled.
Mm.
Rules to
Canceled.
save
I love my
Canceled.
probes.
billions of dollars
Canceled.
If Musk and his OMB director
Expired.
succeed in killing
Expired.
the CFPB, it's like putting a sign on every checking account, every credit card, every mortgage application,
I
and
do like her
every
hair.
car loan. Cops have been fired.
We have
Let
the gray in common.
scandals begin. That is not all.
Yeah,
Musk
you and her,
his
huh? You guys
Doge
have the same
crew
haircut.
are also rooting through the Treasury's most important payment systems, the financial plumbing that ensures that billions of payments go through, from Social Security checks to grants for community health centers. No one has verified how they got this access or what they are doing with it. No one has checked whether Americans' financial data has been copied or sold for the personal profit of Mr. Musk. Instead, we've had a series of misleading and conflicting statements by Treasury
I want to hear
Secretary Bessent.
Jerome talk.
After receiving public blowback, it appears that Secretary Bessent is now trying to throw the Federal Reserve under the bus. Secretary Bessent claims that Doge can't meddle with the Treasury's
Yeah,
payment
don't throw the
systems
reserve under the
because
bus, dog.
ultimately the Fed is in control. Now, I'm not sure whether Secretary Bessent doesn't understand how the system works or if he's just trying to shift the blame to you. But I know he is wrong. The Fed simply executes the transactions that Treasury instructs. If Elon and his hackers, for example, initiate instructions to choke off payments to their enemies, or if they issue instructions to shut down payment for teachers' aides for kids with special needs, the Fed may have no way of knowing that the instructions were manipulated, and the Fed may have no legal method to override them. Chair Powell, the next 18 months may define your legacy and the country's trust in the Fed as an institution. I expect that you will work with Democrats and Republicans in Congress if Doge's next move is to try to commandeer the Fed's payment system. I also expect that you will not join the conspiracy to shutter the CFPB. Unlike the Treasury payment instructions, you can see if the CFPB's funding requests have been manipulated. I understand that some extremists have a different view about what the law ought to be, but under the law right now, impoundment is clearly illegal. Do not make the Federal Reserve an accomplice to this illegal act and forever sully
Are you
the
talking to
reputation of the
Jerome
Fed.
like this,
Keep
Warren?
the CFPB funded
That you were
exactly
talking to?
as the law requires.
He's deboning me.
We are in the middle of a crisis as Elon Musk tries to take over
Imagine
our
them
government. But let's also
hooking
talk
up
for just a minute
with
about
each
your
other in a
day-to-day
hotel
job,
room.
meeting the Fed's
Already
dual
did.
mandate of promoting maximum employment and stable prices. It's now clear that the
There was
Fed
another
acted
person in that
too
hotel
late
room
and
too.
let inflation get too
Yeah,
high,
you.
It
and then
was
responded
me.
by keeping rates too high for too long. These policies made the big drivers of inflation, like housing costs, even worse. And they put Americans' jobs at risk, making it more difficult for them to afford a home and for small businesses to be able to finance their operations. I urge you to move more rapidly to bring down interest rates, beginning with a meaningful rate cut next month. You have proven you can move quickly when it is politically expedient. After President Trump was elected, within the space of just a few weeks, you scrubbed seemingly all mention of diversity and inclusion from the Fed's website.
How many
You
minutes do
withdrew
these guys
from an
get?
international
Jeez.
central bank group that shares information on climate-related risks to the financial system. You instituted a hiring freeze that will limit the number of cops on the Wall Street beat, and you announced plans to gut.
We wanted a short gold a little higher. But we'll see if we get a pullback. On the hourly, we broke demand. On the hourly, created this supply, so I'll look here.
Happier with you right now, but wading deeper into politics to please him over the long run will burn the reputation and the independence of the Fed and put our entire economy at risk. I urge you, don't fall into these traps.
It's a
Thank you,
trap.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, ma'am. Today we'll hear from Chair of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, on the semi-annual monetary policy report to Congress.
Rome.
Chair Powell, thank you for your testimony today, and you are now recognized.
Chairman Scott, Ranking Member Warren, and other members of the committee, I appreciate the opportunity to present the Federal Reserve's semi-annual monetary.
Dude, he's such a pro.
Mm-hmm.
The Federal Reserve remains squarely focused on achieving our dual
Does the
mandate
same thing every
goals of
time, bro.
raising employment and stable prices.
He
for
looks the
benefit of
same.
American
I bet he
people.
smells the same
Economy
every
is
single
strong
day.
overall
Literally,
and has made
Lopez.
significant
I guarantee you he
progress toward
does.
our
Smells
But
like
he eats
fruit.
the same lunch he brings to work
Labor market
every single
conditions
day.
have cooled from their formerly
No.
overheated state and remain solid.
Turkey sandwich.
Inflation has moved much closer to our 2% longer run goal, though it remains somewhat elevated. We are attentive
God,
to
dude
the
says the
risks
same
on
shit
both
every
sides
time.
of our mandate. I will review the current economic situation before turning to monetary policy. Recent indicators suggest that economic activity has continued to expand at a solid pace. GDP rose 2.5% in 2024, bolstered by resilient consumer spending. Investment in equipment and intangibles appears to have declined in the fourth quarter, but was solid for the year overall. Following weakness in the middle of last year, activity in the housing sector seems to have stabilized. In the labor market, conditions remain solid and appear to have stabilized.
Don't touch the mic,
Payroll
Jerome.
job gains averaged 189,000 per month over the past 4 months. Following earlier increases, the unemployment rate has been steady now since the middle of last year, and at 4% in January remains low. Nominal wage growth has eased over the past year, and the jobs to workers gap has narrowed. Overall, a wide set of indicators suggest that conditions in the labor market are broadly in balance. The labor market is not a source of significant inflationary pressures. The strong labor market conditions in recent years have helped narrow long-standing disparities in employment and earnings across demographic groups. Inflation has eased significantly over the past 2 years, but remains somewhat elevated relative to our 2% longer-term goal. PCE prices rose 2.6% over the 12 months ending in December, and excluding the volatile food and energy categories, core PCE prices rose 2.8%. Longer-term inflation expectations appear to remain well anchored, as
And
reflected
Q
in the
chugging.
broad range of surveys of households, businesses, and forecasters, as well as measures from financial markets. Our monetary policy actions are guided by our dual mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices for the American people. Since last September, the FOMC lowered the policy rate by a full percentage point from its peak, after having maintained the target range for the federal funds rate at 5.25% to 5.5% for 14 months. That recalibration of our policy stance was appropriate in light of the progress on inflation and the cooling in the labor market. Meanwhile, we've
Toes are
continued to reduce
cold.
our securities
Mine
holdings.
too. Shit.
With our policy stance now significantly less restrictive than it had been, and the economy remaining strong, we do not need to be in a hurry to adjust our policy stance. We know that reducing policy restraint too fast or too much could hinder progress on inflation. At the same time, reducing policy restraint too slowly or too little could unduly weaken economic activity and employment. In considering the extent and timing of additional adjustments to the target range for the federal funds rate, the FOMC will assess incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks. As the economy evolves, we will adjust our policy stance in a manner that best promotes our maximum employment and price stability goals. If the economy remains strong and inflation does not continue to move sustainably toward 2%, we can maintain policy restraint for longer. If the labor market were to weaken unexpectedly or inflation were to fall more quickly than anticipated, we can ease policy accordingly. We are attentive to the risks on both sides of our dual mandate, and policy is well positioned to deal with the risks and uncertainties that we face. This year, we are conducting the second periodic review of our monetary policy strategy, tools, and communications, the framework used to pursue our congressionally mandated assigned goals of maximum employment and stable prices. The focus of this review is on the FOMC's Statement on Longer-Run Goals and Monetary Policy Strategy, which articulates the committee's
All right,
approach to
bro.
monetary
Thanks for your input. I'll wait till they start asking questions.
Yeah, that sucks. Hey, bud. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hey, Trevor said good morning. He said thanks.
The best morning.
Yeah.
Be right back. Had to get some socks. Can't handle these cold toes anymore. Excuse me. This gives us a retest. We may throw on 1 just because it's a big zone. Wanted to see it. We wanted to see price take out this, which we did. Back down, pull back about halfway, form demand, which we did. Pull back in here. Bada bing, bada boom. As they say. Oh. Then Q makes a new high. We'll start our uptrend. Look for like 860 area.
Is Powell talking?
Last I saw.
Will you commit to working with me as
Powell only talked for like 5 minutes, but after 2 minutes, it felt like 15 years. Beautiful Tuesday. Made a new high. Uptrend, uptrend. Alright, so now I'm going to look for perhaps gap fill we're coming up into right up here. Might see a push off the gap fill. I like to see supply form around 80.50. Crude found sellers a little earlier than we were looking. I was looking for 74. Thinking about perhaps throwing on a gold long, but seeing if it can get to our demand here. Hey.
You watching this, Trevor? No, just the charts. You enter any positions or no? What are you waiting on NQ? Waiting on NQ for what? Entering a good area. Good area for a short up here. Mm-hmm.
Ah, Gustas, you're a savior. Oh, wait, that's weird. My mute buttons were backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Gustas. That's 2 for 2 days. Gustas has come through when I was just talking muted. Need like a you're muted tally. I was just saying I'm looking up here around 80, 70s. If the 5-minute shows us an imbalance on gold, I'm looking for the exact picture that's painted out, but I want it to come back into demand for us to go long. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Boom, boom. We pull back to 25.3. I might throw on a long and just use this structure as our demand here. Or we be patient and see if this retests. I'm not sure.
At the other banking agencies to do something. But that's certainly, I've said many times in this committee that I think that the level of capital in the largest banks is about right, and so it'll shake out somewhere in that area, I would
Our
guess.
expectation would be, and the markets would expect that it would be neutral with regard to capital.
In that range, but I want to defer to our new colleagues and get their views as well. But that's a good starting place.
Okay, thank you. The Federal Reserve's partnership with the U.S. Treasury plays a central role in supporting our nation's payment infrastructure, which processes a vast range of daily transactions, from federal benefit disbursements to debt obligations. Could you outline the Federal Reserve's role in supporting and managing the Treasury's payment systems, including how the Fed works to keep these systems secure, efficient, and capable of handling the government's high volume of daily transactions?
So it's a complicated set of arrangements.
All right, so we long this demand here. We'll see if it holds.
Effectively,
Still could retest this, but
Congress authorized spending, and then the agency.
this is the picture we drew in. We wanted to see us take out this level here, which we did. We want to see us pull back at least halfway, which we did. We wanted to see us form demand and retest it. So we'll see if we go higher, because now this supply right here
What did you take that on, Trevor?
on gold.
Oh, cool.
If we go through
Sorry
this
about
supply, no, you're good. We can go up here. 42. That'll be my target area if we get up there. And Q's reaching up. Still sad about that silver trade. That was such a good zone. Sometimes you miss them.
Book been revised?
Are you in any,
We
Derek?
expect that it will be revised.
I just took a short right now on the
NQ.
NQ,
We're
but
one thing that didn't happen.
I already.
Was,
This is the second one. The
example,
short earlier, right before he spoke.
Through aggressively enough on things
I got
that
screwed
said,
on.
If they'd
So
done that could well have been enough
see.
to.
I wish I could just put like an earpiece in his ear.
A lot of it was just not focusing enough directly on
the economy is
a very
terrible.
large amount of interest rate risk, a large portfolio of long-term securities matched up with an unstable funding base. And somehow people wrote about that, and not the Fed, but others wrote publicly about this, but somehow we don't expect bank runs outside of a crisis in this country, and that's what that was. It was a bank run, and bank runs are incredibly damaging. I think everyone learned a lot from that and is determined to do better.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think this is one that I think, as you appropriately pointed out, I think this is an area where a lot more questions are out there yet. And I think if it's the playbook that was the problem, I think perhaps a discussion about how that playbook has been revised would be appropriate in the future. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Senator Cortez Masto.
Chairman Powell, thank you. And thank you always for the conversations in between these hearings as well. Let me focus on a couple of things of concern. And you touched on a little bit of this, and I think this is important to clarify. There was a change in the law when the CFPB was created. The CFPB examines the banks and enforces the law, whereas the Fed only supervises those banks. Is that correct? Or how
Look
would
at that guy's little desk.
how would you determine that relationship?
With the CFPB?
Oh, no.
Dodd-Frank took a lot of the consumer.
Whereas the Fed only
Look at this guy.
supervises those banks. Is
Just discussed, which was banks under 10 billion in assets, but the CFPB essentially took all of that when Dodd-Frank came into being.
So as it was created, when you two were working together, the Federal Reserve collaborated.
Why is
with
that guy
you know,
cracking me
you're
up?
supervising
Can you
those
tell
large
me?
banks, correct?
Yes, we still retain
Let me see.
supervision over all the holding companies and also of Fed member banks.
And let me ask you this then, does the Federal Reserve enforce consumer protection laws now for things like money transmitters?
Not for
There's
money.
a little
That
desk.
would be
It's
consumer
so, it's
protection
so
laws.
small.
Yes,
Okay.
that's
And
right.
so when
God,
we're
he's
talking
just like has
about,
this towering,
collaborating with the
massive
CFPB,
desk of people.
for financial technology
He's like the
firms,
jester.
what would the Fed Reserve now do that if the CFPB, if the hypothetical is the CFPB no longer exists, what would be the Fed's role right now with respect to technology firms?
We don't have jurisdiction.
Would like to sell
over,
crude
we
a
have
little
jurisdiction over
higher.
banks and some
And
financial
that's it.
market utilities.
So
This looks
let me
pretty
ask you
weak.
this,
If we get a
because I
retest
know,
up in
there's
here,
a
we'll
number
see
of
what
Nevadans
happens.
who file consumer reports of concerns about fraud and predators with the CFPB. The Fed Reserve doesn't receive those reports, correct?
No, I don't believe
And
so.
you have no role when it comes to consumer protection like the CFPB does, correct?
Unless you're a Fed member bank that has 10 billion or less in assets, then we have jurisdiction.
Right.
On a
So there
consumer.
is a gap. If the hypothetical is true and what we're hearing that the CFPB is being shut down, there is a gap what we're hearing in enforcement out there, and particularly when it comes to consumer protection. Is that, would you say that's true?
Yes, for all banks that we don't
Yeah.
supervise.
And I think that's the concern we're all having right now, is this concern of when we're looking to streamline government. And listen, I'll be the first to tell
Who's
you, there's a lot of bloat.
Cortez
We need to streamline it.
Masto?
We need to address regulations and overreach. But there's a strategic way to do it, and not this burn down the house. that is
Nevada
going to
senator.
harm people across the country, including in my state. Those Nevadans that are looking
Oh, she
for
just said
some
it.
sort of
Jeez.
enforcement around consumer protection law. So that's what you're hearing from many of us on our side of the aisle here.
Can I just very briefly add that we do have some residual enforcement authorities, but what we don't have is examination authority. And for the banks that the CFPB supervises.
Thank you. Let me ask you this.
Ayo.
And, we talked
Oh,
about
you
this on
heard?
the phone. And
He's just slow. He's a slow robot.
My CPU is burnt up.
Oh, he burped at you. Hey, is for horses.
That is true.
You ready to go to school, bud?
Sure.
No? Go blow your nose.
I did.
Take some of your allergy medicine. Looks like
Is your
allergies.
nose running?
Yes.
You better catch
blow
it. Ha 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 ha.
Is your nose running? You better catch it. That's a good one. Party. Jesus, dude.
Stand.
Fed policy, they may remain high. I think, once we lower rates and kind of rates return to a lower level, mortgage rates will come down. I don't know when that'll happen. And even when it does happen, we're still going to have a housing shortage in many places.
Thank you. Chairman Powell, thank you again for being here.
Thank you, ma'am. Next will be Senator Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for being here. My friend, our ranking member, said that you are knuckling under to the big bank.
Could be coming up to an interesting area right up here around Gapville.
Bank lobbyists. Do you recall a year or two ago when inflation was raging? I think its peak was about 9%. Many economists and other experts, based in part on history, said that you were going to have to provoke high unemployment and put our country into recession in order to get inflation down. Do you recall that?
Very, very well.
Are we in a recession?
We are not.
Would,
good answer.
You as an American
Using the R word here.
trade places right now with Germany in terms of the economy?
No, I sure wouldn't.
How about China?
No, wouldn't trade places.
How about France?
No, thanks.
Things aren't perfect. Inflation's obviously still sticky, and long rates are too high, which I want to talk about in a second. But the fact is,
And
knock
John
on
Neely.
wood, we have experienced a soft landing.
Louisiana.
Not for me to say, really. I'll let others
Well,
make
have
that
we experienced a hard landing?
No, we sure
Are
have.
we in a recession?
No, we're not.
I call that a soft landing.
Stop using the R word.
And it seems to me that you and some of the ladies and gentlemen who are your colleagues at the Federal Reserve behind you deserve some credit for that.
Thank you.
I don't know why you don't take the credit. Everybody else in Washington, D.C.
That's what I'm saying. Powell deserves the credit, man. He's fucking the man.
Okay, I'm not saying things are perfect, but I never imagined that our landing could be this soft, albeit not perfect.
Our landing was so soft,
And
it
I
makes
wanna
me
thank
hard.
you and your colleagues for that effort. You sure didn't get any help from Congress and on the and our president on the fiscal side. I don't expect you to comment on that. You and the Federal Reserve can to a large extent control short rates, can't you?
Yes.
Through the open market committee.
Well, we missed our silver trade, but we were able to hop on gold.
Okay. No, we can't.
We'll see if we can bring it up a little bit higher. I'm not looking for anything too crazy.
A lot of things go into long rates, and one of them is the expected future short rate.
Ooh, NQ's already up here in our area.
Things go in. Expectations of inflation in the longer run, the sort of risks around the economy and around the budget deficit go into something called the term premium, which is the part we can't explain when we do these.
I'd look for sellers right up here.
And so, it's set by supply and demand in the bond market at the long end, and we're not particularly.
Oh, Powell said the words. He said supply and demand. It's our boy.
Many Americans are looking at short rates and looking at the Fed's behavior and how you reduce inflation, but they don't seem they don't see the long rates going down, and obviously that affects mortgage rates. And I would encourage you and your colleagues to spend some time explaining to the American people why that is. Final question. If you went home tonight and Mayor Powell, your spouse, said, I got a call today from our bank, and they're debanking us. They're worried about their reputational risk because they don't like our politics. Would you think that fair?
No, I sure wouldn't. And as I mentioned earlier, I too am troubled by the quantity of these reports, and really want to understand better why this is happening. One theory is that banks are just very risk averse around BSA and money laundering, and that's because we're so tough on them, and that they just don't. Any red flag is enough. But it may be that this whole thing with reputation risk needs to be thought about. It's actually coming out of our one manual that we use. We're taking that concept out, the manual that we've been using for account access for master accounts. We're just going to take that out. But I think this needs a fresh look, and I think it's time for that, and we're gonna do that.
Well, I've asked our chairman, and he has agreed to invite some of the CEOs of some of the banks that have been debanking people, the CEOs.
And Q, little high volume on here coming into our supply. Maybe see a pullback off of it.
Them.
I want to see this demand taken out
Come
here.
in and let's talk about this and find out what the hell's been going on.
Thank you, Senator Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Reed.
Thank you, Chairman Scott. Chairman Powell, welcome. Thank you very much. I think your monetary policy combined with the Biden fiscal policy
Gentleman is a
over the last
leprechaun, I
several
believe.
years has made a tremendous difference. We've avoided a recession. And I'd like to remind people how far we've come. In 2020, the gross domestic product decreased 2.2%. The unemployment rate finished the year at 6.7%. By 2024, gross domestic product grew 2.5%. The unemployment rate was 4.1%.
Is that an alert?
Labor force participation rate
I don't need that.
61% to 62.5%. And that's a combination of your work together with the fiscal policy of the Biden administration. So I thank you for that. One of the issues before us today is the issue of tariffs. In July 2018 testimony, you stated, Mr. Chairman, countries that have remained open to trade, that have not erected barriers, including tariffs, have grown faster and had higher incomes. Do you still believe that?
Yes, I do. I would stand by that.
So President Trump's tariffs on China, Canada, and Mexico will obviously raise costs on families. In fact, some economists, many economists, project about $1,200 per year households will be paying extra, an increase of inflation by nearly 1%, economic growth depression, and, for example, the increase of the average car price by $2,700. Is that a wise policy?
So I guess I ought to say this. I think the standard case for free trade and all that logically still makes sense. It didn't work that well when we have one very large country that doesn't really play by the rules. And in any case, it's not the Fed's job to make or comment on tariff policy. We, really, that's for elected people, and it's not for us to comment. Ours is to try to react to it in a thoughtful, sensible way and make monetary policy so that we can achieve our mandate.
Just this weekend, the president removed the board of the Kennedy Center and made himself chairman. What would you do if the president tried to remove a member of the Federal Reserve Board?
Well, it's pretty clearly not allowed under the law.
Thank you. We've communicated back.
You tell him, Powell. You tell him.
Synthetic risk transfer as a potential danger to the banking system. And could you give us some insights on how we can improve financial stability by regulating these transactions more appropriately?
So what we've been doing for some time now is looking at them on a case-by-case basis. And if they really do transfer risk successfully, then that's okay. I mean, it's a good thing if
I think he needs some allergy medicine.
Wants to transfer risk off its balance sheet in a way that it gets compensated for and all that.
Okay.
But what you want to make sure is that the risk is really transferred, and that was the problem during the global financial crisis.
Look to take profits if this gets up to 29.40.
We see this coming, and we've been looking at these transactions on an ongoing basis.
Well, I commend you for that. In fact, what happens typically is the transaction becomes complicated by synthetic risk transfers, as it was the case with synthetic derivatives. So thank you for your attention to that. We've talked about housing. It's absolutely critical everywhere across the country. We're in a housing shortage. Of course, housing is difficult. Two of the mainstays of our housing market are Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, helping to support home ownership. Does the federal guarantee backing Fannie and Freddie help make mortgage rates more affordable and home ownership more accessible, Mr. Chairman?
I imagine it does hold down mortgage rates, the fact that they're sovereign.
Looks like it might.
And how important is the 30-year mortgage to ensure that families can afford a home?
In our housing market, the 30-year mortgage is very important.
Yeah. And I have heard some discussions about eliminating Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which would be detrimental, I presume, to the housing market.
That's really a question for you. You know, I mean, putting them back in the private, putting housing finance back in the private sector has some appeal over the longer run, but I leave that with you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Senator Ricketts.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman and Ranking Member, for holding this important hearing, and thank you, Chairman Powell, for being here today to talk about our economy and all the things that are going on. I want to address, again, something that the Ranking Member started talking off about, which was characterizing the CFPB as being the cop on the beat here. But I can tell you, as having been a governor and having a Department of Banking that reported to me, that if any consumer would contact us and make a complaint about a bank, even a big bank like JP Morgan, we would investigate, as could the OCC, the FDIC, the FTC. So to characterize that nobody's out there looking for consumers, I think is inaccurate. And we ought not to try and scare consumers right now that somehow this is the case, because if you do have an issue, if you're a consumer, please reach out to your State Department of Banking, because those folks are going to look out for you. I can tell you that because I used to have one of those Department of Bankings. They did a fantastic job of looking out for the consumers. One of the things that has also impacted consumers is inflation. Prices under the Biden administration were up 20%. An average household is paying $13,000 more today than they were for the same standard of living they had before Joe Biden got elected. We see that grocery prices, for example, are up 22%, rents up 23%. Simply put, Nebraskans are economically worse off today than they were 4 years ago, and I expect that's part of the reason why
NQ, what are we doing, NQ?
They thought that that was not something that they wanted to continue to pursue. They didn't want the same policies being followed. We have to end the reckless federal spending, rein in inflation, and be responsible about how we make decisions to be able to grow the economy. One of those areas that I'm concerned about is the expansion of the Fed balance sheet. The Fed's balance sheet before, at the end of 2019, so before the pandemic, was about $4.1 trillion. By May of 2020, the Fed expanded that to $7 trillion, and by 2022, the Fed's balance sheet hit an all-time record $8.9 trillion. Inflation peaked at 9.1% that year, a high we had not seen since 1981. Now, I'm encouraged by the actions the Fed has taken with quantitative tightening to shrink the balance sheet down to $6.85 trillion, but $6.85 trillion is still too high. And one of my concerns with the Chairman is that that's kind of one of your tools to be able to guard against a downturn.
I think I would rather short. Maybe the Dow. We made a lower low here. Go to sellers. Sellers are up here. That would line right into this downtrend on the hourly. We've had quite a run up.
for some sort of shock. Obviously,
basically we're going to be looking at reserve conditions in reserve markets, and trying to stop a little bit above what we consider ample. And we think we're, meaningfully above that now. We can't put a number on it because you can't directly know the demand for reserves other than by observing behavior in the market.
All right, so let's go through these, leave with the plan. ES and NQ kind of the same. We're looking up here a little bit higher. NQ right around where it's at right now. We want to take out this demand form supply here. We'll take it short. Rusty, NQ, ES, all same picture. Screwed. It looks like it wants to break a little lower. Maybe down the 50s down here. If we get a retest a little bit higher, I might take a short up in here. Dow, same thing. Sellers a little bit higher. Gold, we're going to try to take this gold trade to 2940s, and we'll start trailing that. And silver, kind of like the same deal as gold, maybe looking a little bit higher, around 32.5. Otherwise, I'll probably make a recap video today because a few things played out really nice. And yeah, I'll